What's up, guys, and welcome back to the last episode of season 2 of Two of Our Own. It's been a really long season. We've thoroughly enjoyed having you guys along the way with us. Me and Harry will talk about, at some point, we'll talk about our best. We might do it at the end. We might talk about some of our favourite episodes. The one where Jack just sat there listening to me and Harry scream at each other comes to mind. But it's been a really, really good season. We've really enjoyed it. And to kick off the last episode, of course, Harry is joined. He's going to have some negativity, I'm sure. And Charlotte's also making a return.
22 games, so come on. We did lose 22.
Right, Harry, it's overstated. Oh, my God, Jesus Christ. I'm going to be glad to have a 2-week break. And we're joined by Charlotte again. She's come back for a second episode. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
No worries. I know you were excited yesterday when I sent you the message. We're recording this Sunday night, guys, I don't know. And I sent the message maybe Friday evening, I think, and I got a reply Saturday. And bless her, she's so excited to come on and record it again. So we've been saying about it for a while, to be fair. Me and Harry have been saying about it a while. So on this episode, we're going to go through the squad. We're going to go through the players, rank what sort of season they had, whether we'd keep loaning and sell them for next season, and then we'll talk about the season as a whole. So I'm hopefully not going to forget anyone because there's no point talking about the players that we already know are going permanently. So the first one on our list, and we're going to go through the players that we've loaned out as well. The first one on our list is Bryan Gil. Now, we're just going to do A, B, C, D in A, B, C, D because there's no point after that. D standing for disaster. And I think he's probably a D for his season. He started off okay and they don't want to keep him. They were on the verge of getting relegated towards the end of the season. And I would also sell him because he's crap and I think I'd rather have kept Lamela, which is a bit interesting considering. Harry, for you, Bryan Gil's season, A, B,
Sell.
C or D?
Sell.
So how are you ranking his season?
I haven't followed his loan, so I don't really know anything. All I know is that I've heard that he was kicking a lot because I told you this off air, right? But basically, he's in the same house. Poro lives in the same house that Bryan Gil used to live in.
Yeah.
And apparently, so my dad knows his name. It's a long story. My dad knows his neighbour. And apparently, Bryan Gil was to kick balls over all the time. So
yeah, well, we can't target a game, let alone in his garden.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Charlotte, for you, keep loan or sell him?
I think so. I haven't really focused really on his season, but I feel like you've got to get rid of some of the dead weight.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Can't argue with that. Next one on the list, and I still don't know why we signed him, is Veliz, and I would sell him. And he had an okay start to the season, but a poor after the 3 games that he scored in. I think he was, yeah. There's rumours of him wanting to go back to Argentina, which I'd take that in a heartbeat for
I think he's
anything.
getting sold anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Charlotte, echo the same?
Yeah. I think this is going to be agreeing for the first
Yeah,
few.
I think it's going to be agreeing with the first few. Yeah, Dane Scarlett, he's really, really frustrating because he had that period for Oxford where he scored quite a few times, but he didn't look like a League One quality striker, and he didn't look like a Championship quality striker really when he was at Oxford. I don't know what to do with him. Like, it's going to be another loan again, I feel, but if he doesn't get the loan right this time, then he's not going to have any chance of making it at Spurs, I don't think.
How old is he now?
He is 21. He's just turned 21. I think for me, it's going to be a loan, but I would probably send him away from the Championship. I'd potentially send him somewhere like Scotland's, the SPL, just because, and we'll talk about another player who went on loan there shortly, but it is a lot more of a physical league than people maybe give it credit for. And I feel like he's going to get more game time in a league like that than in the Championship. Because like I say, if he doesn't have a good loan next year, I don't think he's going to make it at Tottenham, which is a real shame. And we have a habit of pushing youngsters into situations that they're not ready for. And then it knocks back their confidence, it knocks back their progress, and they have a bunch of shitty loans. Like with Tottenham, we either get the loans absolutely 10 out of 10 spot on, or they're the worst loan ever. And for me, I just don't think his loans have worked out at any period at all.
I think
Charlotte, for you?
now is that we've got Lancashire as well. Anyway, I'll let you.
Well, we'll go with one player at a time. Fucking hell.
I feel like at what point do you stop calling them a youngster? Do you know what I mean? I feel like you've got so many youth players coming up, and it's like when they're showing more than he is, then you're having a problem. But I think he's going to have to go on loan another time, one more time, sorry. But I do agree. It's hard.
Harry, for you, loan him?
Um, so this is the thing. I prefer Scarlett to Lancashire. So for me, I want to give him a loan, but I think we need to loan him to one of the Premier League clubs coming up, even if he starts as a sub there, because if he's going to make it, this is like a make or break year for him. I think. So I think chancing to Championship is going to just basically say that we're going to sell you in a year. That's what I would say. It's true to add. So Scarlett's been in around the first team for like obviously since Jose, and obviously he's had those loans as well. Like that's what I would do. Bear in mind, obviously Kane's an anomaly, right? But he was loaned to tons of clubs, right, including
Yeah.
like Norwich. He had a really bad loan at Norwich actually,
Norwich, Leicester, all
Premier League.
sorts of places.
And only until Showa came in and got his chance. But I don't know. I think it could be a player in Scarlet. This is why I'd probably give him a Premier League loan to a lower team in the Premier League. But if it's not that, I think if he goes to the Championship, that's it for him, or lower. That's it for him. He's going to go down loan. Next year, he'll probably go. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The next one, and I'm really, really excited about his future at Spurs, and that's Jamie Donnelly. Fair play to Leyton Orient, and me and Harry spoke about them a couple of weeks ago, and unlucky for them not winning the playoffs. I think the experience of Nathan Jones and the experience he brought in at Charlton just made the difference in the end. And I think Leyton Orient will give it a really good go next year. However, unfortunately, I think it is going to be without the two players we loaned to them this year because they are at least Championship quality. And for me, and I actually had this conversation with a mate of mine as I walked back from town this morning, and I would loan him to West Brom when Ryan Mason goes because it looks inevitable now. He's finalising the move. Me and Harry are happy about that. Just get him away from Spurs. I'm not saying he'll never get his time, but he needs to go and have the confidence and develop himself in the media and tactically and whatever. I think his core principles are good, but he has to build up experience. I would loan Jamie Donnelly to West Brom. I think he'd be brilliant there. I think it would be a real making of him. And there's another player that I would send on loan to West Brom if Ryan Mason becomes manager. We'll talk about him in a bit, but I would loan him to West Brom next season. I think that'd be a brilliant move under a man who knows him really well, who's worked with him in the academy, who can play to his strengths, and everybody wins. We can give him a cheap deal because we're doing Ryan Mason a favour. Jamie Donnelly can go and work for a manager that he knows and he's worked around before. I think everybody wins in that situation.
No, I agree. No, I think you've sold it to me.
Yeah. Harry, for you, I know you mentioned a little bit about wanting to see whether he's ready for the first team, but I think the jump from League One to the Premier League is quite significant, and I think that Championship bridging loan, especially when West Brom are going to want to challenge for the playoffs next year, I think it could make the world a difference personally.
How old is Donnelly? Let me just check. Because it does make a difference.
He's 20 years old. He's just turned 20.
See, I disagree with you. I think I'd give him another year at Orient and then do a Championship loan. But that's what I would do.
Okay.
Because I think if he's had a good year with Orient, most likely they'll be even, I think, arguably maybe even better next season to challenge for.
But what you got to remember though, the teams that have come down from the Championship are really, really strong. They're more than League One quality. Like Luton shouldn't have got relegated this year. Plymouth probably shouldn't have got relegated this year. You know, like there's more Championship quality in those teams than there is League One quality. And I think it's going to be really, really hard for Leyton Orient. They'll push for the playoffs again, but I think it's going to be really hard for them to get promoted. And for me, you need to be at the top end of the table with a good side, playing in it consistently to be able to move up the next level. And if Leyton Orient are going to be 7th, 8th, into 6th, into 5th, sometimes up and dropping down, but never pushing into that top 1, 2, 3 places, then for me, I feel like maybe the loan's not going to, it's going to be in addition to the loan we've already got, that he's already had, rather than a drastic extension, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know whether he's ready for the Championship. That's my.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Ashley Phillips, he played 35 games for Stoke last year. I'm not going to lie, Stoke is shit. And the games that I watched didn't set himself alight. But that being said, Stoke were awful in the few games that I did see. And the Stoke fans speak very highly of him. I would loan him to another Championship club that are going to be potentially somewhere like Coventry, I would say. playing under an English manager, possession-based football. They're going to be pushing for playoffs again. And you can see what he's made of in more important games. You having to sit there with 5 at the back and part of the bus, it doesn't say a lot about a defender for the way Tottenham want to move to. If he's ever going to make it at Spurs, he needs to play in a team that the style of play is similar to how Tottenham want to play. I feel like he needs a more progressive move, if that makes more progressive loan, if that makes sense. I wouldn't sell him yet. I think he's too young, but I think he needs another loan to a better Championship side. Harry?
I was looking at Charlotte. I don't really know about Ashley Fitz because when we got him, we loaned him out and we were still short on centre halves. I've heard Ange don't really like him, so I think that's an issue there. Like if Ange stays or goes, that does affect him, I do think. But he's probably not ready for the first team.
No, I don't think he's ready for the first team.
No, I don't think he's ready. So I think probably mid-table Championship teams were best for him.
Charlotte?
No, I agree.
Fair enough. Next one, I think we're all going to agree on this. Manor Solomon, I'd sell him. I think I'm not going to discuss the political side because everyone knows that that's as black and white as it gets. But I just think, for me personally, he's proven he's a top-level Championship player. We're not aiming to be in the Championship next year. We don't need top-level Championship players. We need better-level Premier League players. He's done well at Leeds. Leeds have got Premier League money. 10, 12 million, sell him to Leeds. I think that's fair.
Yeah, they're going to sell him anyway, I think.
The next one, and this is a really difficult one because I potentially would loan him back to Leyton Orient, and that's Josh Keeley. Phenomenal season. Complete 10 out of 10. Absolutely phenomenal season. Him scoring, I don't think I've celebrated a non-Spurs goal unless it's been against Arsenal. The way I celebrated him scoring that corner for Leyton Orient, that was just absolutely brilliant. And we said it actually, Harry, after he scored that goal. We started paying a bit more attention to his performances, and we've spoken about it a couple of times this season on the podcast. And for me personally, I think he's just been brilliant. He's mature beyond his years. I think Leyton Orient is the best place to send him again next year because with the goalkeeper, it doesn't really matter what league you're playing. You're going to have chances against you regardless. You know, I've seen League Two players smash it top bins, and I've seen Premier League players smash it top bins. If the ball's going top bins, it doesn't matter what quality player is shooting it. It just matters what types of saves you're having to make, how often you're having to make it. And I think for me, it makes sense to loan him back to Leyton Orient next season.
Yeah. But the thing with the keepers is I think it's the hardest place to break through in a Premier League club because unless you're like exceptional from the off, it's very difficult. And then most of the time you might get a few first team games and then get sold later on to like another team or something. So if you look at Brandon Austin, the guy's been in for ages and he only got his first team start, last year. So I guess you're going to have to loan him for now. But I don't know. These keepers is a weird one because we've got Kinski last January. So is there going to be a pathway to him? I don't think
there is right this second, but I think there will be long term.
I like to see him play, but again, let him have another year and succeed.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense. Go back to a place he's comfortable, place he's happy. I think for me that makes the most sense. This one I'm really disappointed about, and I'm probably going to lean towards selling him, despite the fact he's only 20. Alfie Devine. He only played 9 games in Belgium last year. Got 2 goals, 1 assist, which actually for a player in his position isn't a bad return. But the fact that he didn't get a lot of game time, I'm just... the last couple of loans with him just seem to be all over the place.
I loan him to the Championship. That's me.
You loan him to the Championship? Mm-hmm. Charlotte, for you?
Yeah, maybe.
He's only 20, so you can afford to do like two more years at I'd say 2 to 3 years maximum, 3 years maximum of loans. Because really, a lot of these players, obviously, when they break through, get really excited. But then over time, they either get, we're bringing them through just to make money later on. But I'm not saying that they're never going to succeed, but it's very difficult in this day and age for a youngster to come through and to succeed unless you build a pathway for him in a certain position, which is why I spoke out the keeper in that way. But Alfie Devine, I'm only going on the fact that I'm friends with someone called Brian Daigle, if you know him. Very big Levy out person. He's very hot on Alfie Devine. He loves Alfie Devine, so I'm saying loan him for another year.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Charlotte, if I had to say to you loan him or sell him, what would you go with?
Loan.
Okay, maybe I'm being a bit harsh then. Next one, and this one's interesting because I was actually in a SPL Reddit thing the other day because I was trying to find out what fans had said about him. And Alfie Dorrington, now he started off his time in Scotland really, really poorly, struggled to adapt to physicality, whatever. I can't remember what, I was reading a post by an Aberdeen fan on Reddit the other day, and I can't remember what game it was that he got subbed in late on in the game because they were really struggling, and he was phenomenal, and then he pretty much started every game after that. He played 16 games last year for Aberdeen and got a goal. They won the Scottish Cup as well, so congratulations to him. Another player in Lily White. Well, he wasn't. He was wearing red, but we know he's wearing white underneath. Winning a trophy, so I'm really happy with that. And if they've broken their trophy ducks, it was a year of all sorts of trophy ducks being broken this year. For me, I'd loan him to a championship club. I think he's got massive potential. He's tall. He's quick. He's good physically. I think a championship loan can really, really cement him. And he's someone I could see jumping, being in and around the first team in the next 2 seasons if he has a good loan.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Sounds like you both agree with that. Min Hyuk Yang, I can't really say. He played 14 games for QPR, 2 goals, 1 assist. He's an interesting one because I watched a fair bit of James Lawrence Alcott, and he's a QPR fan. And he seemed really happy with him, and the goal and the assist he got were really taken really, really well. There just wasn't enough of it. But that being said, QPR were a pretty much bang on mid-table team last year. I would loan him to a championship team in which you expect to be challenging for the playoffs. Again, someone like a Coventry, somebody falls into that mould of team, not necessarily Coventry, but somebody falls into that mould of team, so that we can see what he's like in a possession-based system. Is he scoring goals? Is he creating chances? And if he is, then, okay, cool, he's ready to be part of the squad in a year's time and can challenge those winger spots. I think that's the best thing for him. There's definitely talent there, but he's so raw at this stage that he just needs to play. He just needs to be playing week in, week out. For me, he needs to be playing 30-plus games next season.
No, 100%.
Don't you think
Harry,
some
for
of it
you?
might depend on, this is non-football related, but sort of is football related, if Son stays or goes? Because if Son goes, then they might need a poster boy for a career again.
But he's only valuable, I said this a couple of months ago, he's only valuable to the club if he plays, if he's scoring goals.
Yeah,
That's
but
what's
they
going to
can
sell
use- they can
shirts.
use him in the cup games. They can say that, oh, he's the next. They can do some interview, do some, oh, he's going to learn on the new Son. I don't know, something like that.
I think
If
that's a
it's
year
Son
away
going,
from being in that position.
and then they can just use him in the cup games. I'm just saying. I'm not saying this will happen, but especially because we've got Champions League, so that's an extra. They can more like to rest players in the cup games again, isn't he? So I'm not saying this is what I would do. I'm just saying this is it's a thing with him that I think is a factor if Son stays or goes, because they might use him as like a poster boy. So that's my theory anyway. But if it was me, footballing wise, I'd loan him back to QPR for another year.
Back to QPR specifically.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Charlotte, what about you?
I agree for him to come closer, like the Championship, maybe. I do get what you're saying, though, Harry. I do get it.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not Son staying or going. So.
No, yeah. I guess Spurs is big on their marketing and everything as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they use it. Yeah.
Do you think that would what would make him more appealing to a championship club though? If you saw there was South Korean fans at QPR games where there hadn't been previously, do you think if you're a championship club and you think, you know what, let's get in that extra revenue, if we bring him in, we can sell an extra 10% shirts or 5% shirts on what we would do. For a championship club, that's a lot of money. They might see it as you know what, let's pay the loan fee, we'll reap the rewards, and then Spurs are going to make the commercial gain from him in a year's time anyway. Maybe more so if he's Premier League ready by that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. With him, it's an interesting one. Like I said, because he's because of his nationality and because of the Son thing before, it plays a factor, I think, in what they do with him. But I don't know. I don't know where they're going to
From
treat
a
him.
purely our decision basis.
They treat him as a normal footballer and just treat him as we need to learn him out again to get more experience in the English game. Because another thing that I have reservations of putting him back into a high level is is he physicality ready for the Premier League? Because players coming from abroad, sometimes it takes them like a year or two to acclimatise, especially young players. So to chuck him into a Premier League team, I think is stupid right now.
Yeah, that's why I'd like to see him
Yeah.
a championship team that play progressively, because he'll have more of the ball, he'll be running at defenders a bit more, and we'll be able to see a bit more of what he's made of, physicality-wise.
He's a club signing, let's be honest. Like,
yeah, 100%, yeah. But there is definitely talent there. It's just very, very raw. And how quickly he hones in on that talent, for me, is all dependent on how much he plays.
I'm not saying, I don't know about his footballing ability that much. I'm not watching him that much. Like, I can't tell you, I think he's great. I'm just saying I'm basing it on the factors that I thought were important.
Yeah. Will Lancashire, he's only just turned 20, 11 games for West Brom and no goals. I'm not going to lie, if you go on loan as a striker and you don't score at all and you're playing more than 5 or 6 games, for me, that's a failed loan. I don't think he was played enough. I don't think he himself would say his loan was pretty good. West Brom fans seem to really like him. And for me, I would probably loan him and Donnelly to West Brom if Mason is there. Donnelly to be the creator, Lancashire to have the chances. West Brom fans like Lancashire when he was on loan. I think that would be a massive benefit for Spurs, massive benefit for Ryan Mason, and I think for everyone's sake, everyone benefits in that situation. Charlotte, for you, agree?
You're putting it on a platter. You should really maybe email that in.
Yeah, I should. Yeah. Ryan, take him on loan with you, mate. Harry, for you, your face seems to look like you agree with that as well.
I'm okay with Lancashire. I'm gonna feel a bit different about him. Obviously, because I mentioned Scarlett needs like a loan to a lower Premier League team. I think Lancashire's the same. I think those two are the only 2 strikers that have any chance for youngsters to break through, especially given the fact that Richardson's probably going to go. So, and Lancashire, to be fair to him, was in and around the first team last season. I mean, he scored away to Galatasaray, didn't he?
Galatasaray, yeah.
If it was me, I'd either loan to a very high championship club, like one that you think might get promoted, or to like a lower Premier League club. Because again, I think he falls in the Scarlet category where the next 2 years are going to be like the make or break. So,
see, that's where I feel like
he's more ready. I think he's more ready than like the other youngsters we have, and this is based on the fact of what I've seen. And not that I rate him, I'm just saying I just think he's more ready to play in
I think
level.
For me, like the West Brom owners ambitious. They want to come up. Their aim was to come up last year. If he goes on loan and he plays 35 games in the Championship and scores 28 goals, then we're laughing. Then you can bring him into the Premier League, and I don't think it's that big of a jump.
What other strikers do they have, though? Because
the fact that they bought him and played him, they got him on loan and played him last year, it tells me they haven't got that many options. And let's be realistic, Ryan Mason's going to favour the Tottenham Academy boys over people that are already there.
You'd hope, right?
Well, to be fair, the guy also didn't play the biggest big game player in a League Cup final, so, say that with a pinch of salt, I suppose.
But, like I said, it's like with Scarlett, I think they fall in the same category. And for strikers, I think, again, like goalkeepers, it's even harder to break through into the team because it's literally one position. Rather than with the midfield, you got
multiple different roles,
2 wingers, 2 fullback, So that position, again, for those two is make or break in the next 2 years. If they don't do well, I think they'll just sell them in 2 years. Like in 2027, they'll both be gone. But
fair enough.
That's why I think for those two, pressure to put them into high-level teams, I think, personally. But yeah.
Okay. On to the first team squad then. Vicario, I'm going to keep him for another year because I think there were times last season where he did save our asses, and he's a proper character. He's a proper leader. He's vocal. He sets the right example. Like I say, great character, and we need that. I'd give him another year and then see at that point what. So he'll be 29 October. So he'll be coming 30 at that point. That's the right time to then sell him as a goalkeeper. You can sell him back to Italy, pretty much make your money back because we didn't pay a lot for him. He's calm. He's won something. He'll be remembered fondly by Tottenham fans. His mum and dad are lovely. I think I'd give him one more year personally just to see how he does. Also gives us an opportunity to see how Kinski does in the Cup, to see whether Kinski's viable to overtake him as a long-term number one, which you'd like to think so because that's what we bought him for, or whether or not you need to go and sign a main keeper to replace him. That's my opinion personally. Harry, for you? I know
See,
you've been quite
if I've
hit
been,
and miss with Vicario this season.
if I've been brutal with our goalkeepers, if we want to challenge for a title or something, we need someone better. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm not
But
saying
that's not
Vicario's
going to happen
bad,
in the next 12 months, which is why I'm saying give him 12 months.
but you let me finish. But I'm saying because our priorities lie elsewhere, like in other positions, I don't think you can change keepers this summer. So you give him one more season. Also, Vicario with him, there's a possibility he might be here for longer because if Song goes again, they're going to look for and Romero possibly. Then captain armband will be up for grabs, I think, and Vicario will probably be in the frame. I think he'll be one of the players that might get it. So I think he's going to stay at least another year anyway, and I'll probably give him one more season.
Okay. Charlotte, for you?
I think, well, the last time I spoke to you guys was after the 4-0 win against Man City, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
hell, that feels like
And
God knows how long.
he, before that, like singing his praises. Oh no, he's just gotten injured. That I remember.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I think
Fucking hell. It's been a long
before
season.
then, you're literally like we were singing his praises, and I think the injury, obviously. Do you think he might have maybe came back too quickly?
Yeah, because he did rush to get back because we had the situation with Forster and Forster started making a couple of mistakes and he kept putting social media posts out about back soon and whatever, and you could tell that he was forcing himself back.
And I think that's kind of when you see it come downhill. So I think I definitely would say give him another, especially if you're right, getting rid of like possible captains as well. You want like a leader in the dressing room, someone they like. But I think a year is probably the right
You're right about to judge it.
time frame.
Fair enough.
I'm not happy with
Fraser
his
Forster.
I mean, my dad doesn't like him at all, Vicario. Like you think I'm bad. I like my dad just hates Vicario. He'd rather see Kinski in goal.
Fraser Forster is obviously left on a free. He's never going to watch this, but listen, Fraser, thank you for the time you've been at Tottenham. He was a real character. He helped the young players a hell of a lot, not just the goalkeepers, but helped the young players a hell of a lot. And there's a reason why he's done as well as he has over his whole career. There's a reason why every time we played against Southampton, he fucking saved everything like a little prick. I'm glad he got to win silverware. You know, he's a good character, a good guy. No qualms with him at all at his time at Tottenham. Listen, I think the role model he set and the example he set, we can let go of those couple one or two mistakes. Now we've won in Europa League. We don't have to stress about the impact it has. I think we can let go of those one or two mistakes and say that his time at Tottenham, while he didn't set the world alight, he was exactly what we needed for the time frame that we had. I think that's how I'd sum it up.
I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but he wasn't bad. No.
But he had some of those games where you're like, I can't believe he just saved that. Do you know what I mean? Like
and he also had some of those games where I was like, I can't believe he didn't just save that. So
I just think of a Man United game when I 4-star because anyway,
he's one of those players that we probably got him 2 or 3 years later than what we would have wanted to. But like I say, you can't complain.
Well,
I think so. Yeah, we needed a backup goalkeeper. We brought him in as homegrown, but unfortunately, we were expecting not to have to rely on him. And like Charlotte reminded me, Vicario got injured, which I completely forgot about that. It's been that long of a season. So Kinski definitely keep. I think he'll really, really push next season. I've been impressed with him when he has played. But like I say, with goalkeepers, you need consistency. And I think I want to see him this year in the cup games put in top-tier performances so that whoever the manager is in the summer is sitting there going, actually, I might have a conversation here, you know, in more important games. He's a good lad. I think he started off his Spurs career well. He's only just signed, so you can't really, he's always going to keep him anyway. But I think I've been happy with what I've seen so far. But like Harry said, goalies is one of the hardest spots to push your way through. And I think it's just time with him. He's only 20, so it's just time with him. I think it's the best thing. Brandon Austin, I would sell him. This guy has been around for fucking ages. I like him. He's a nice guy, but you're not going to play, mate. I think he will stay because of the homegrown aspect. So that's our 3 keepers for this year.
For next year. For me, I think Austin's been hard done, man. Like, because he brought him into the team when we had all those injuries with Forster and Vicario. And obviously this was before he signed Kinski. And I thought his 2 games he played was like one of our best players. And then Kinski come in, he got dropped. So I don't know. I'd keep him. For me, I think he needs more games. because I still think there's a keeper there. Because when I saw him those 2, 3 games of playing, he was really good. He was actually I felt more comfortable with him in goal than I did with the other two sometimes, right? Like, but because he's not given like a proper run of games, like saying 10 games, he's not really able to judge it. I would keep him.
Yeah.
100. I won't keep him.
Yeah. Makes sense, Charlotte, for you.
Yeah, I think we're just going to have to keep the goalkeepers, the 3 of them, and I think you're just
Because
going
you
to
can't risk going down to 2 just in case.
You need to
and
have
I
a minimum
think-
of 3, right? Don't you? Isn't it part of the?
So?
Do you need to have a minimum of 3, right? It's part of registration.
Oh, I don't know. Probably, yeah.
Feels like it. I think with a trusted back line, maybe that will give. Oh no, sorry, I was thinking about Kingsley, but yeah, I think I don't remember what games did he actually play for, Austin.
Was it?
Newcastle.
I can't remember. I'll tell you.
And there was another one as well, wasn't there? Newcastle.
He
and
played against Elfsborg and saved the penalty, kept a clean sheet. Played against Hoffenheim. Played against Newcastle,
Newcastle, I know.
and that was it. Oh, played against Brighton. Oh, that was friendly.
What would you play him in? Like season? Would you give him like the League Cup or like the early stages of those or?
It's hard, isn't it? Because with like Kinski, for me, I really see him being a long-term number 1, and the only way we get into that readiness is by playing him in the cup games. I just don't see Brandon Austin playing this season. I think he's just going to be an emergency backup. And then I think next year, if look at Keeley's progression and then assess which one is worth keeping, which one is worth loaning, and assess the situation then. But for now, with how good of a ceilings Keeley's had, we need to keep his momentum. Yeah. So that's why I'd echo what Harry said. I'd keep him and like we've already said, like Keeley. And Alfie Whiteman, boyhood Tottenham fan. Listen, I hope wherever he goes, I know Kieran's gutted because he absolutely loves him. Wherever he goes, I wish him the absolute best. I'm gutted that in that period where Lloris was flapping his hands and whatever, that he never got more of a chance. Because I feel like that really could have been a proper breakout opportunity for him at that point. But he's 26 now. He's a European champion. For him, I think it's time for him to move on, play somewhere regularly, play somewhere consistently. But like I say, I don't think there's a single Spurs fan that was disappointed to see him with a winning medal around his neck. Seeing the photo of him as a kid at White Hart Lane with his dad, and then seeing the photo of him with his dad, like with the medal, I think for me, it's a perfect end to his time at Tottenham, really. And I think even though he's never really had the opportunity to cement himself as a number 1, I think he'll look back on this time fondly. And I just hope that wherever he goes, his career continues to progress from here. Ashley Phillips has already done. Reguilon's left. Yes.
Why are you so happy?
Because he's shit. He went on loan to Man United and started flexing Man United. Then went on loan to Brighton and started Brentford. Started flexing Brentford and then got sent off. And then didn't play again. Honestly, I'm glad he's gone. That whole... Oh, I sent my stepdad a photo of Spurs announcing he'd gone and he was so happy. He's like, that's party worthy as it is. For me, I'm glad he's gone and good luck wherever he goes, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm going to lie. I know, Harry, I know you like him, but let him go. It's gone. It's finished. He's not going to make it.
I just feel like his career, right, at Spurs, like obviously Jose brought him in. This is what, 3-4 years ago now? Then he played regularly. Then Jose got sacked. Then Nuno came in. Wasn't Nuno, right?
Yeah.
Then it was a mess. Then Conte came in, he played him a bit. Then he got loaned, right, didn't he?
He got loaned twice.
Then obviously Ange came and loaned him straight away. Literally, because he didn't really get a chance under Ange, let's be honest. Like, this is what annoys me. And then obviously Spence has been treated a certain way as well. Like, how old is he now? 29. It's probably too late now, obviously, but I thought there was a player then. I think we've kind of wasted him in the past year or two personally. And we could have had decent cover on the left-hand side for Udogie if we'd actually treat him like fairly, if I'm trying to put it. But we didn't. And that's partly down to Ange, partly down to the club as well, because obviously they loaned him beforehand. So I'm not happy to see him go. Like, he needed to go, I guess, because hopefully we'll sign a left-back in the summer. But I kind of like bittersweet about it, because I still think there could be a player there if we treat him well.
Charlotte, for you, somewhere in between the two, or which side are you more on? Oh, fair enough. I think he's one of them when a player doesn't really play for the club for 2 years and whatever.
don't
You sort of don't really give a shit by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A player we've officially announced we've signed on a permanent, and I've been really, really happy with his performances since he came in, is Kevin Danso. I think for his age, his maturity level, he's only 26 as well. Like, I think he's the perfect definition of a backup centre half. In those three away, or the quarter final, semi final, and then the final, when he came on in the two away games and then the final, he was absolutely rock solid, and he deserved that medal for the performances he put in the time he's been at Spurs. And I'm really excited to see where his Spurs career goes, because I think even if we do sell Romero, which we'll talk about that in a minute, and we bring in another centre half, I think he would be someone to try and push his way into the first team and earn every second of it. For me, perfect definition of depth. Really happy with him. Good value for money. 10 out of 10. Can't complain.
Yeah. My brother loves him. He absolutely loves him. So every time I feel like he's walking on air every time I see him. So yeah, I agree. I think I'd love to see him play more instead of just coming on as a sub. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm glad he's made such an impact already coming in January.
Harry, for you?
Well, he's staying anyway, but I would have kept him regardless because because he's, to be fair to him, he's done a job. Let's say, since he's come in, I don't think he's the best defender in the world. Like, I think Van de Ven's miles ahead of him, and others in the league are miles ahead of him. But he's kind of like going to be the new Davies, I think, just a centre half. Like, he'll come in, play like
Come in and do a job and go home.
You get like a 7 out of 10 of him, I think, every game pretty much. And yeah, that's about it. Like,
It's exactly what you want for squad depth, really, isn't it?
But I don't know. We'll see. It depends what the other centre half we sign is, whether I'll be happy with Danso staying or not.
Next one, and I feel like people are going to hate me for this. Radu Dragusin, sell. I don't like him. I think he's not a good enough passer of the ball. His agent's a dickhead, and I'm just... Do you know what? I think back to the Conference League, the Europa League game right at the start of the season where he got sent off. And I think of the couple of performances after that. And the biggest thing for me, especially in squad players, is about character, right? And you need to be able to be unfazed in high-pressure moments. And if you are phased and you make a mistake, be able to recover from it. And I felt like he took a couple of games to get back to being a level-headed again. And for me, that's just not it. There's a lot of interest abroad. I think we'd probably make a profit on him. Personally, I think I'd sell him. And we don't need 5 centre-halves. Like, 2 for each side is fine. Danso's been phenomenal. For me, I think he's the casualty. I'd sell him.
Agreed.
That's interesting. I thought you were going to disagree. Harry, for you?
Not for me. I think Dragusin again has been given a bad treatment because, like, you know, with the style we play of this crazy high line that Andrew's doing most of the season does not suit him. So the mistakes he was doing for me was not like, wow, he's done a mistake, because it's not surprising when he's not really the fastest. If you watch him from Romania, the guy's a beast. Yeah, like, if we played an actual defensive structure in the Premier League, maybe he would actually look half decent. So for me, I'd keep him. Also, you need to bear in mind, if Romero goes, I don't know if he's going to go, we're going to need to keep him anyway, because we're going to need to bring another centre half. So I think a lot depends on Romero as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that premise. I think we just replace Romero as a starter and then keep the rotation options is what we've got. But
they're going to have to keep, if Romero goes, they're going to have to keep Dragusin, because you're going to have 4 centre halves.
Because you just Romero, use the money from Romero
goes, then you need to. If Romero stays, you still need to have 4, right? But I think it's easier if Romero stays to sell Dragusin, because you can go and sign someone else. So I think a lot depends on Romero.
Okay. The next one, and he was great before his injury and great a couple of games after his return from injury. Destiny Udogie, for me, keep fantastic season. We need to do all we can to keep on. He's one of the best left backs in the world for me. He's got so much potential if we play the right system, and I love him. He's a proper character. He loves the club, loves the fans. Really down to earth, humble guy. I think he's exactly what Tottenham should be. Keep him. I don't think there's going to be any disagreements there.
He definitely improved towards the end of the season. I definitely suddenly was like, oh my god, something's clicked. I don't think he's been rubbish, but I do think toward especially in the last few European games, he was brilliant. So yeah, I'd keep as well.
Didn't he have an injury at the start of the season?
Yeah, he had an injury at the start of the season
Yeah.
and during the course of the season as well. I'm assuming you'll keep Harry.
Yeah.
Next one is Archie Gray. For me, keep him. Me and Harry discussed this at length this year, and I do agree that he needs a more defined position, wherever that be under whatever manager. I would be inclined to loan him if Ange is still the manager, just so he can play consistently, but it would have to be a Premier League or top 5 league European move. That being said, he's been phenomenal this season for me. He's covered us in every situation you can possibly imagine, apart from in goal and up front, but pretty much played everywhere else. He's been brilliant. His work ethic's been phenomenal. And for a first season at a Premier League club at the age he's at, I think he's had a really good season. For me, I'd keep him. I don't think there's any need to sell him. Absolutely not.
I'm because Leeds have come up. I'll loan him back to Leeds for a season.
Yeah, I've seen that.
For me, it depends on who the manager is. If we go and
Gray, right, is whilst he's done, I'm not saying he's been awful. I'm not saying he's been amazing either, because people seem to be describing him in massive superlatives when he's come in and done a job. To be fair to him, he's playing out of position, and this is why I give him credit, where a lot of players will moan about that and they'll just be like, I don't want to play there, I don't want to play there. He's just play wherever he's been put. Maybe it's because he's grateful that he was getting minutes. I don't know. But I think he's comes across as someone who just works hard. So I don't think it's like that. But for me, if you're going to make him into a player, he needs to get regular minutes at a Premier League club. So I'll loan him back to Leeds, assuming they're going to play him in a fixed position. I don't know what their plans are for next season. So also there's other teams coming up you can loan him to, of course. But I think Premier League loan is what I would do with him.
Okay, Charlotte, what about you?
I don't know, because seeing the whole, I don't know if it was loans to Leeds or proper just go back to Leeds. I don't know. I'd love to keep him, but you're right. I think he does need more minutes, and I feel like he needs minutes in his proper position, despite the fact that I think he's been a better defender than what his actual position is. But I want to keep him.
My thought process is, if Ange goes and let's say Thomas Frank comes in, he was Thomas Frank's first transfer target in the summer. So he's more likely to play him and play him consistently because he was a player that he already wanted.
For me, David, regardless of if Ange stays or goes, I would loan him back to Leeds for a season. That's my opinion.
I think...
Because
I understand the logic in terms of...
In the small 5 league, whatever 3-4 league games he's played or cup games he's played in midfield, he's not ready. I don't think he's ready. So if in that case, if we're not going to just chuck him around left back, right back, goalkeeper, centre half, with wherever else positioning he's chucked in, if you want him to actually develop as a player, you need to put him somewhere where he's going to play regularly and at least fix 2 positions, at least, let alone just 1. But... So for me, I'd loan him back to Leeds for a season. Maybe they'll put him in midfield and he'll play regularly. And if the consequences of him playing midfield regularly for Leeds, if it's bad, which so far for me, I've not been that impressed, then at least we'll know what to do with him afterwards. For now, though, if we're just going to keep him, he's going to be a utility player, I think. Like you said,
he just needs some consistency. So whether does he get?
I'm saying
that
give him a chance, but I just don't want his mistakes to happen.
I think my only decision based on whether he gets consistent or not depends on who's in charge. If Ange is in charge, I'd probably echo what Harry said. If Ange isn't in charge, then I'd give him a chance under a new manager to force his way in and be a consistent player for us, and then sit there and judge it. I think that's probably the best way.
He's not ready to play at least for Tottenham. I don't want him playing in midfield for Tottenham in the next season, personally.
Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that opinion.
I'm not seeing anything to show me that he's going to be a capable number 6. So for me, you loan into a Premier League club and you see what happens.
So you can not be a capable 6 for a Premier League club.
No, because then my thinking is if he makes mistakes there, it won't cost us, will it? It's just going to cost that.
So fuck it, as long as it sends Leeds down, who gives a shit whether he makes mistakes or not? Seems like a good premise.
Then maybe he'll develop and then
Yeah,
That's what
let's
I do
try and work our way through because we've still got half of the defenders to go. Romero, keep him. Listen, and we'll talk about the manager at the end, but I think we need to do whatever we can to keep Romero. He's proven this season that he's an absolute unit. He's a leader at the back, and one of the main reasons we won that trophy is because of him. It'd be a huge mistake if we sell him.
Yeah.
I think keep him, but only if he wants to stay. Because if he keeps saying that his family's saying that the weather's cold and stuff, then maybe he doesn't want to stay. I don't know. That's the
He
comments
wants.
I've read.
I think he wants to stay if Ange stays, and he doesn't if he doesn't. So, next on the list, Pedro Porro. For me, keep him. He's been phenomenal. He's been the growth he's had. We spoke at the start of the season about his defensive improvements, but all round as a player, he's grown and matured so much, and he's one of our most important players now, in my opinion. I think there's so much more to come from him. Just keep him, and I love his "Vamos" every time he walks into a dressing room. It's fucking hilarious. I love him. Absolutely love him. Jed Spence. Keep him, because I think we need 2 of each position for next season being in Europe. Keep him, play him at right back, bring in another left back, play him at right back. I think when we're playing in 4 competitions next season and we have to rotate, we've got a manager that chooses to rotate before players are injured rather than after they're injured. I think he'll just continue to grow for us. And I think all in, considering like Harry said, I don't necessarily agree with how Andrew's treated him, especially at the beginning of the season. I think he's played really well and he's been a real character for us. I think keep him. Ben Davies, this is an interesting one because there's a lot of rumours about him going to Wrexham. For me personally, he proved last season as a centre-back that he can be a rotation. For me, I'd like to see our 4 centre-halves next season be Van der Ven, Romero, Davies, Danso. So I would keep him for 1 more year and then I would call it quits. But what I will say, and me and Harry said this for like the last year and a half now when he's played at centre-back, he's been Mr. Consistent. That run of games where he came in for Van der Ven and he was just unplayable. He was brilliant. There was no mistakes. The line dropped back a little bit. He wasn't being caught out of the pace. You know, he's been so key. And I'm so glad that for all the time he's stuck with Tottenham, that he's got a reward for that. Because he's the definition of a perfect squad player. Comes in, drops 7 out of 10, gets the job done, goes home, doesn't complain, sets the right example, helps the youth players. Can't argue more than that. If he is going to go, I'd like to see him go back to Swansea. I'd like to see him go back home. The fans love him still. The club love him still. So if he was going to go there, but I think we can get 1 more year out of him, and then I think that will be it for me personally.
Yeah, agreed. I like him. I love Davies.
I'd sell him.
You'd sell him.
But for me, well, he's going to go on a free. But for me, the problem is that, again, with Romero, a lot depends if Romero's staying or not. Because if Romero goes, the club might just be like, oh, we'll keep Davies another year, not buy another centre-back. And you forget also, when we beat City 4-0, we had Davies and Dragoustin in the centre-half.
Shut up, man. Take your logic and shove it up your ass. I'm joking. I'm going to pretend you didn't say it. No, but I think that proves that he is good enough to still be a squad player. So,
but then you don't like Dragoustin playing that game.
Yeah, but that's not the point. I don't know what it is with Dragoustin. I just don't like him.
So, like, what I'm trying to say is a lot for me, the centre halves depends on Romero. If Romero goes, are they still going to let Davies go and then buy another one? Are they? That's why I think his future's kind of up in the air as well. I think a lot depends on Romero.
I feel like you could say that with a lot of the players, like if this person goes.
But I think especially because obviously Romero's been a long time, so I don't know. And
the last defender, Mickey Van der Ven, keep and hold him hostage forever and ever and ever. He's fucking phenomenal. And I love him to bits. And seeing Vicario at the parade get all the fans chanting Mickey Van der Ven and then pushing him to the front of the stage so he could take it all in was phenomenal. He's been
I'm sure I got his video because when the bus came past, right, he was on my side. He was videoing it, or smashed off his face probably. And I'm sure I was like, Mickey, and I'm sure I don't think he got me his video.
He's brilliant. He leads by example. He's a phenomenal player. And it's proof, and we said this the year before when we were talking about buying like players for sort of between the 40 to 55 million pound bracket. And you said, the same quality of player now is more like the 60 to 70 million pound bracket. You can find absolute diamonds in the rough in that 40 to 50 million pound bracket that become top tier players. If you get them young enough and you put the faith in them, and he's the sort of player, obviously we all knew he had pace, but he's the sort of player that a proportion of Spurs fans would have been sitting there going, "Oh, he's unknown, not played in a major league, he's young, you can't spend that amount of money on him." Now we're sitting there looking at Real Madrid and teams like that, going, "Oh, like there's an interest there." He's phenomenal. Keep him, hold him hostage, don't let him go.
He's our best player. Let's be honest. Like, he's our best player.
Fair enough. And Charlotte, I'm assuming you echo the same opinion.
He can have my hamstring if he wants it. He won't want it, but he can have it.
Yeah, there might be a couple of technical issues with that changeover, but
thing with Mickey
Bissouma,
is, like, he was Ange's sort of signing really, because Ange wanted him at Celtic, right? Didn't he? So,
yeah. Harry, you said that about 5 times in the last year, right?
Yeah.
Bissouma, for me, I'd sell him. I think even though he's been absolutely unplayable in the last 7 or 8 games, he's been far too inconsistent, and he's 28, he's 29 in August. For me, I'd sell him. Yep. I don't think the level he's shown at the back end of the season, that he can do it for an entire season. For me, he's got another 2 years left on his contract, maybe 3 years left on his contract. Now's the time to sell him. He'd be an asset to anyone if he plays the way he's played back in the season, and I'm glad that he has won something with Tottenham, but at the same time, I don't see him being here long term. For me, I'd sell him.
Yep. Scary.
Yeah.
James Maddison, right, I'm going to take a big slice of humble pie here. About 6 weeks ago, I said I'd sell him, and I was sick of his attitude problems and throwing a hissy fit when things didn't go his way. And I don't know whether he watches this. If you do, James, drop us a follow. Come on, state your case. I know you're fighting with Rory Jennings at the minute, so come and fight with me as well. I don't understand at what point it changed, but there was something. I can't remember what Premier League game it was. It might have been after the Leicester game. There was something that just switched in him. And all of a sudden, it was mature, experienced leadership performance. He was taking a hand of the youngsters and driving them forward. And in Europe especially, he was absolutely unplayable. And I don't understand. For me now, he's shown us what he's capable of. He has to maintain that level next season. He has to. Because if he doesn't, the next player we're going to talk about in a second will force him out of the first team. And for me, there is so much quality in Maddison, and I do agree with what Harry said earlier in the year that he needs to be played further forward, and that maybe Ange isn't the manager to get the best out of him. For me personally, he's one of a couple of players that whatever manager I bring in, I'm going, you need to get the best out of James Maddison, you need to get the best out of Udogie, you need to get the best out of Porro, you need to get the best out of Dom Solanke. Because I think those 4 players are absolutely imperative to the next step of Tottenham's growth with this current squad. I really, really hope that I'm not going to be sitting here looking like a twat, giving him all this credit and making myself look like an idiot. I really hope this is the level he stays at now. Really. And him fighting with Simon Jordan has just been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
This level for me is what he's shown. He has to maintain it. If he keeps it up for the next year, I see him staying at Tottenham for years to come. If he doesn't, then in a year's time, I'll be saying what I said at halfway through this season. Charlotte, for you?
Yeah, I think, he's getting shouts for player of the season. I don't know. No, I'll obviously keep. I hope he does stay for the, because he is just so magical in the midfield. Like he is the playmaker. I'm really sad that he didn't get to play in the final, but he got his trophy and I think he's done well. But yeah, I'd like to see him be more consistent. I think consistency is just the word. Yeah. It just gets brought up every time. Like you just want him to be consistent because, yeah, maybe it was after the horrible Leicester game that it was just a wake up call.
Harry, for you?
Oh, well, Maddison was the heartbeat of that Europa League team, so that's not why I'm keeping him. I mean to keep him regardless because I'd rather us spend our money more wisely in the summer and not go out and sign 6-7 players of multiple positions and buy 4 positions of more money and more established players. So you have to keep Maddison. And he's our most creative player in the squad by a mile.
Okay. Next player on the list, and we'll do awards at the end. Next player on the list for me is Lucas Bergvall. And I absolutely love him. His growth this season, oh my God. When me and Harry Sutton spoke about him after the first couple of games, didn't look ready physically, didn't have the confidence, didn't have the belief in himself he could do it. Comparing that to now, listen, He's phenomenal. He really is phenomenal. And I think there's so much more to come from him. And this is where I say Maddison needs to be careful next season, because Bergvall pushed him out of the team at one point this year. And he will do it again if Maddison's inconsistent next season. For me, I love him. Keep him. I'm so proud that he signed a new contract as well. He clearly believes in the vision. He clearly believes in the direction we're going. That's what you want from young players. He's a winner now, and I think the confidence we're going to see him play with next season is going to be unplayable.
I can't disagree there.
Keep, but I think we need to find, again, not as bad as Gray, right? But we need to find where we're going to play him, because he played in the 6, the 8, and the 10 last season. 6, no way. I'm not having him playing in the 6.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that.
I see him personally more as an 8. At the beginning, I saw him as more of a 10, actually. But I kind of changed my mind over time. So
yeah, his ball carrying abilities.
Maddison and Bergvall can play in the same team. But again, with him, we're just going to have to see how it goes and if he develops. Because some youngsters obviously start off, have a breakthrough season, then they drop off a bit, then they go and pump back, it's just going to be a roller coaster ride. So keep him from, definitely. But we'll just see how many minutes he's going to get.
Yeah, fair enough. Kulusevski, keep him. I think, I'm not going to lie, he's had, apart from a small period, he's had quite an underwhelming season, all things considered, considering how good he was last year. I'd keep him. I think the advantage with him, Bergvall, and Maddison is you can play him and Maddison as a 10 and Bergvall as the 8 or Bentancur as the 8. And if you bring in a 6, fuck off, Harry, before you say it, I told you so. If you bring in a 6, I think the freedom it allows those players to have is brilliant. I don't want to see him played on the wing. I want to see him in the 10 if he plays. Other than that, he's got a major injury. He's not going to be back for a couple of months anyway, but I'd keep him.
Keep.
Charlotte, keep.
Early in the season, our best player, wasn't he? For 6 months.
Yeah, for a period, yeah. Pape Matar, keep him. I fucking love him. Absolutely love him. He's a brilliant player. His ability in the final third is definitely improving as well. I'm not just saying that because he got the assist in the final, but his ability in the final third is improving. It's not the first time he scored against Man United earlier in the season. He's been a brilliant player for us. I do agree with what Harry said a couple of weeks ago, that he has been underappreciated, definitely by the manager, not necessarily by the fans, by the manager. And I think there's so much of a player to come from him. And he's only 22 as well. So keep him. 100% keep him.
Keep. And loan out. Great. Yeah. Yes.
Bentancur. Keep and give him a new contract. I was iffy on this. And when we spoke about it after his injury, the first couple of games back, he was horrific. Awful. Absolutely awful. Again, like Maddison, I don't know what point it clicked and it changed, but he's been instrumental. There's a lot of talk about him being next in line to be the Tottenham captain if Son and Romero go. And I think he's definitely got the ability for it. He's a winner. He won in Italy. He's won at Tottenham. He's been another example of one of them. Well, he was a bit cheaper than that, but that 40 to 50 million pound bracket, or in this case, 30 to 50 million pound bracket, you can get real quality. Just because fans are sitting there in another league saying, "Oh, we want to get rid of a player, the player's shit, whatever," doesn't mean they're going to be shit for you. And he is absolute. Do you remember the tweet from that Italian journalist who said, "Oh, Kulusevski and Bentancur for 55 million or whatever, Tottenham have been ripped off their foot." And I keep seeing that tweet be recycled every couple of months. He's been such value for money, is unbelievable. For me, keep him. Make him part of the leadership group, definitely, if we lose one or two of them, and give him a new contract.
For me, with Bentancur, he's been under the radar, being one of our best players the past few months. But with him, he's doing two. I feel like he's doing 2 or 3 jobs at once because we don't play with a number 6. If you played with a better partner, say you played Bentancur with whatever 6 you're going to bring, for example, I'm just saying Edison as an example, Atalanta, and then you play Kulusevski in the 10, for example, then a midfield will be more balanced. Then you might see more our Bentancur in an attacking sense, as a carrier. But because we don't play with the 6, the guy's been doing 2 jobs at once, basically, whenever I watch him play. So that's what I mean by he's underappreciated. But yeah, he's, like I said, he's phenomenal. I like Bentancur a lot. But also another thing to take into consideration, we did pick up cast-offs of Juventus. Juventus did win Serie A a few years ago. So
it's crazy because Romero was originally a cast-off for Juventus as well.
Yeah.
Into the attackers then. This should be a quick fire. Easy. No more Timo. We don't have to find Timo anymore. Listen, he came to Spurs, said he wanted to win titles. Everyone mocked him. He was a man of his
He's won
word.
the Champions League as well, you know.
Yeah, I
He's won
know. For me, listen, I'm not going to lie. Thanks for the goal against City. See you later. That's what I've got to say. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that either. Richarlison, sell him. I love him, and his work rate in that final until he came off was absolutely incredible. His work rate as a whole is incredible. He's a really likeable guy, but he needs to play regularly. He needs to play consistently because he's one of those players, if he stop, start, he has injuries. If you play him consistently, he doesn't. I think there's so many sides that could benefit from him. I think sell him. He's done what he came to do. He wanted to win a trophy at Tottenham. He loves the fans. I've got all the time in the world for him as a person. I remember there's a bit, so for those guys that have been to the stadium before, there's electronic boards on the Chick King side, if you like, and I sit on some brick walls there and eat dinner at Chick King every time I go to Spurs. And once he drove past and I was like, "Oi, Richie, give us a wave!" And he turned around and looked and then gave me a wave and put a thumbs up. He's so lovely. He's a lovely character, and I love him. And I hope when he does finish his career, that he does come back to be in the crowd with the fans because it's clear he loves the club. For me, he just needs to go somewhere where he plays regularly. That's all it is to it. I got no issue with his time at Tottenham at all. The first game me and Harry went together to watch together, he actually got a brace against Marseille. I got no problem with his time at Tottenham at all. I wish he'd been able to play a bit more. Availability is the only thing, but you can't help that. He's not choosing to be injured. But his work rate, his love for the club, his love for the fans, you can't question it at all.
Yeah, can't put him.
I think sell, but my only condition is we go out and sign a better striker because if we're going to sell him and buy another squad player that's just going to sit on the bench for Solanke, I think we need to go out and sign someone better than Solanke personally. So that's what I would do. I'm happy for Richarlison to go as long as we can sign a better player.
Okay, fair enough. I think for me, like I say, I think Richarlison, he just. The only thing I wish he'd scored a winner in the North London derby because you could imagine him celebrating.
Yeah,
It'd be absolutely on.
But I just think his ability-wise, like his work rate's phenomenal, but his ability-wise is not like if you want to challenge for a title or something big, it's not there.
Yeah, he's not quite there. No.
I never put something for like his work rate or his effort or his desire. Like he was the best player in the final, in my opinion, for us at least.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, he can leave, and I think he's probably going to go back to Everton. That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah, I think so. Odegaard, I'd keep him. I think there's definitely a player in there. He just needs more game time. It's harsh. The type of injury he had is a difficult injury to recover from. And by the time he recovered, it was pretty much end of the season. So give him a full preseason, give him a season without injuries, and let's see what we can get out of him.
Yeah, he looks promising, like when he was coming on. So it'll be nice to see him, in preseason and some of the easier games next season.
Harry, for you?
Can I say I don't really care what happens to him?
Because you can't say that. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because I'm like, you can sell him or loan him or keep him. I'm not that bothered about Odegaard. Like, he's all right. Like, I don't know with him. Everyone got excited because he scored those 2 goals. But when I watch him play, you guys don't remember this player, but he always reminds me of Wayne Routledge. It's this guy we signed from Palace years ago.
Oh, my God, I know who Wayne Routledge is. Fucking hell.
Yeah, and we signed Lennon as well. And Lennon was the better player in the end. But, like, for me, I watch him play and I'm like, there's not some... So with young players, I tend to look at, like, one particular quality they have that's, like, better than the rest. As in, like with Bergwijn, for example, we mentioned, like, his ball carrying. Like, his ball carrying is really good. Like, he can keep the ball really well. With Odegaard, when I watch him play, I don't see anything, like, stand out. Maybe he's only 23, but, like, I don't know what to do.
He's not even 23. You know he's 21 in November.
Yeah. But, like, he's been
That's
playing,
what I'm saying. He's got so much time on his side.
As a 10, and I was like, I don't know what the point with that was. I didn't see anything in him playing as the 10. Play him on the right. He can't really play on the right, I don't think, from what I've seen. It's like Mikey Moore. He can't really play on the right that well.
Yeah.
We have a problem with that. And on the left, we have lots of left wingers. So I don't know. Because I'd rather see Mikey Moore get more minutes than all the other wingers we have right now, in my opinion, on the left. I'd rather see Moore get minutes. So I'm quite meh about Odegaard. I'm like, they're probably going to keep him because he's 21, but I'm not that enthusiastic about keeping or whatever.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Fair enough. That was an interesting response. Dominic Solanke for me, I'd keep him, but I think he has to hit higher numbers this year. I think we've said this already. I think the system is a problem for benefiting him, and he did underperform based on what we said we wanted at the start of the year. But there is a player in there. He scored some key goals for us. That goal in the second leg away in Norway completely sealed the tie. Like, there's been times where he's scored goals that have finished games off, like Liverpool away at Anfield. He scored, all right, yeah, we got battered, but he still stepped up. He still scored. It was a phenomenal header. There's definitely a player in there. And when we get on to the manager, we'll talk about it. But the thing that would swing me to getting rid of the manager is the fact that there is a player in Dom Solanke and we're not getting the best out of him because of the way we play.
I think I'd keep him just for the sake of the fact that Richardson's probably going. So we're going to need to have a striker there. So, and whether he's the first or second choice for Solanke, he's going to have to stay. So, yeah.
Okay.
Like, he's all right. It's okay.
Yeah. I agree with you, David. I think there's such a good player down there, but I think he as a club going into the Champions League, like, we need someone who is scoring them big numbers, and we haven't got that. Like, it's okay to say that everyone's kind of contributed, but we need someone to like race for the golden boot or something like that. But like, he hasn't quite hit that yet.
No, I think he can. And he
thing with Solanke, right? Because I've spoken about him on Noise's podcast this season. We kind of came to the conclusion that if we signed Solanke when we had Kane, so we had Solanke as like the second.
Yeah,
choice,
him and Kane then playing slightly off of it would have been brilliant.
Perfect. Like, you could have played them together. You could play them by themselves. You could play Solanke consistently in like a cup games, for example, or in some Premier League games and done 10, 20 or whatever. But like, because we don't have, like you said, Charlotte, like a top level striker, he either has to step up or he's going to be relegated to the bench eventually. So if you're letting Richarlison go, someone else is definitely going to have to come in regardless of whoever it is. So then is the player coming in going to be better than Solanke or the same level? Because for me, Solanke's better than Richarlison, but I don't think there's like that too much between them.
No, it's not as big of a gap as you think.
You need like a proper push, like, and someone coming in to maybe take that spot away from you 100%, right?
I'm not saying straight away, like, because the player comes in.
But someone to push him so that we've actually got competition for the place as opposed to just having a guaranteed starter without fail. Next on the list is Mikey Moore. Now, contrary to what agreeing with what Harry said, but not the way he said it, I agree he needs more minutes and I'd loan him to a Premier League club. I don't think he's going to get all the minutes in the world at Tottenham. I think
Tottenham, personally.
Okay, Charlotte?
I'm kind of right in too much. I'd love him to stay, but I think he does need the minutes. And
he is only 17, though. We have got to bear that in mind.
People do treat him like he's older than he, like, you know.
People act like he's 22, 23 when he's not. He's still a child.
I do think, like every, great player, they have gone off, on loan and succeeded. And I'd love to see him do really well somewhere and then come back and, maybe have matured a bit. And he gets bullied off the ball sometime. He just needs to grow.
Unpopular opinion, I think if they sell Eze, I'd loan him to Palace. Europa League football, good Premier League side, very attacking. They'll have a lot of freedom in the final third. Got a good striker to link up with. Sarr's been good this season as well for them. I think Glazer's the right man for him to learn that. And I think he is a Europa League level player. So it allows him to play back in that competition again and get consistent minutes. Don't like the idea of loaning a Tottenham player to Palace. But for me personally, on paper, I think that's the club that makes the most sense for what we want to get out of him in the long term.
So we sign Eze and loan them Mikey Moore's part of the deal.
Exactly, mate. Listen, everyone wins. Well, apart from Palace, but
But I don't know whether they're going to sell him now. But with Moore, for me, the reason I say to keep him in the first team or around the first team squad is I think if you give him all the cup games plus, because I think he's another player I think he could break through into the first team side personally. Because the left wing for me, unless you go out and sign one, which I doubt we will, if we're going to keep Odobert. And if Son's going to give him another year, we're not going to sign another left winger. He could break through, arguably, in that position because Son is on the way down. Odobert, for me, like I said, I'm kind of like, eh. And Werner's going back, so we won't have another option there. I think we're more like signing a right winger than a left winger. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Not a left winger in the summer, but I think he can make a breakthrough there. This is just
okay. That's fair enough. 3 more to go. Matthias Tell. Not going to lie, I'd keep him as long as the fee is lower.
No, I'm getting rid of him. I don't watch that guy. I can't watch that guy, man. He's the most overrated player I've ever seen.
Before he decides to elaborate, we end up sitting here for 45 minutes. Charlotte, what do you think?
I don't mind him that much. I agree more with you, David. I think, as long as it's not
Anything under like 25, 30 million, I'd buy him. Anything more than that, I wouldn't.
I like his passion. I like how he's settled in, but I think he's. I don't think he want to see him go back to Bayern. I prefer him to stay at Spurs, but I think
not for the fee that we'd originally agreed. Okay, second to last, Heung-min Son. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to get so much hate for this. Sonny, I love you. You're a legend. You always will be. But it's time to go. End on a high. Go out being the captain that won us our first European trophy since 1984. First captain to win us a trophy in 17 years. Go out on an absolute high.
Yeah.
That's it for me. I want to see him go back to Germany.
Hamburg.
I'd like to see him go back to Leverkusen, although under Ten Hag, maybe not. But I'd like to see him go, I know Hanover fans love him massively. I'd like to just see him go, I don't know, somewhere like that.
He was linked to Saudi, this week.
Yeah, I don't want to see him stay in the Premier League, but I'd love to see him go abroad. There was a lot of links to Barcelona for a while if they don't get Rashford. Love to see him go there, win it all. But for me, I think this is the perfect end to a phenomenal 10 years. I think you have to leave it here.
Mm.
Problem is, right, with Sonny is there's also the financial aspect. I think he has an option another year, right, doesn't he? I think he's an option another year. Because people might argue, right, so if we keep, I'm not saying I will, if we give Davies another year, they'll be like, why do we not give Son another year? Because it's the same sort of thing, really.
Because we're not asking Davies to run to a fullback, take him on, bend it into the far corner.
The thing with Sonny is, if you keep him, I would use him as like a bench impact player, because for 30 minutes you can get some pace out of him, I think, and maybe he starts some cup games.
Yeah,
because that's another factor. Like I said,
you know the phrase though. You know the phrase.
2 wingers this summer, or just one. That's another factor, I think, as well.
You know the phrase though, that you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I feel like we're at that era with Son now. And if he stays that a little bit more, how many people are going to be sitting there shouting and swearing, Son, your shit, whatever, next season? Let him go out on the highest of highs and leave it there. I might not be saying that if we win the Champions League next year. But and lastly but not least, Johnson again. Listen, right, me and Harry have gone back and forth with him all season. But you can't deny that he's been really effective. The way he plays is stupid, but he's been really effective in the way he plays. Back post Brennan all the fucking time, tapping after tapping after tapping after tapping. I do agree with what Harry said earlier in the season. I think if we do bring another manager in, then we'll see him play off the striker rather than on the wing. But you have to keep him. I think there's so much more to come from him. I don't know, the parade, he was fucking hilarious. I don't know if you went, Charlotte, but I was right in front of the stage, and he got dragged off by security and then picked up the trophy, ran back on and went, way! And then security took the trophy out of his hands, dragged him off the stage. He come running up the stage, way! He was just, do you know what I love?
He was smashed.
Winning teams have character, and whether we like people's ability or not, he has character. The way he fought back in the build-up to that Coventry game, the goal against Coventry, that run of form that earned him his own chance, to scoring the winning goal in the Europa League final, for me personally, I don't think he will be at Spurs his whole career. I think his days overall are numbered if we continue to become a Champions League team, because I don't know if he's got the potential to be a Champions League player consistently, but you have to keep him.
You just have to applaud how far he's come from the beginning of the season, and how he's fought back against the fans themselves to now loving him. And I think goals win you games, and
he fucking scores them all the time.
You can't. Yeah, absolutely keep him. Absolutely.
I think
Harry, I know you've been a bit up and down, but
I'll keep him on the premise we sign a starting right winger because
So he's going to go from being back post Brennan to last minute back post Brennan.
yeah, like because for me he's not. I know he scores goals, but in if we talk about the overall team and the way we play, which I mean could be the tactics, but like I don't think he's that good on the like he's not a winger. I don't look at him and think he's going to fly down the wing. He can't cross. I mean, he scores his tap-ins, but then Ange, I think, made a comment earlier in the season saying, if I was playing on the right wing at Spurs, I'd be scoring a lot of goals too because they obviously work on that across the box tap-in.
Yeah.
I think Mason had him doing that robotically and repeat that in the game later on rather than thinking for himself to put in a decent cross. But you're going to have to keep him based on numbers because if I want to sell Tell and not keep Tell, you're going to have to keep Johnson. So
Yeah, you have to keep Johnson, yeah. That's fair enough. Player of Season awards then. This is going to be a good one. I think we're going to be very conflicted here. Player of the Season. For me, I'm going Pedro Porro. And the reason I'm going Pedro Porro is because the best ability is availability. The amount of minutes he's played this season has been a joke. Sometimes he's been playing full 90 minutes twice a week. He's been unfazed, uninjured. He's been phenomenal. He's popped up with goals. He's popped up with assists. He's grown, matured, and developed so much as a player. For me, Pedro Porro is my 2024-2025 player of the season. Charlotte, for you?
Well, I had like 3 names written down because I think that was the problem this whole season. It's just that like everyone was so crap or like,
or unavailable.
Yeah. I had Porro down, I had Bergville down, and I had Madison down. And I think I will probably agree with Porro. I think when we've literally had a whole team worth of injuries, like he has been there. I think you're right. I think Bergville in the sense that he's just improved and shown, everyone, what he can do. But I'll give you Porro. Yeah.
Harry, for you?
I don't know who to pick because if you spoke to me, say, 6 months ago,
he hates them all. He hates them all. He hates them all.
Like original start of the season, I was like Kulusevski, but then Kulusevski came back for his injuries, not done anything. Then we went for a period where what was I saying? Madison was really good in that period during the Europa League. Then you have I spoke about Bentancur, who was good, but none of them have been good over over 20 plus games.
The whole season. That's what pushed me to Porro.
But then Porro, they've exposed him a lot down that side. So I don't know about Porro because I thought of Porro as well, but I don't want to pick him. And Bergwall for me, he's been all right. He's been all right.
Would say like Madison as well. Like
he's player of the season. I don't know because hard to pick.
You've got to give us an answer, Harry. Come on, don't drag me out.
I'm going to go with Bentancur because I think he does the most work in the team, but he's done the most underappreciated. Just to clean up a lot of messes.
Most improved player for me is Bergvall. I think it's light years the improvement level he's put in. That's why he's not got my player of the season because he's got the most improved instead. For me, he's just been brilliant.
I think
he wasn't here last season.
I've seen obviously like Spence as well, but
say,
oh no, because I thought you meant from players from last season to this season being most improved, or
no, from this season most improved.
Yeah, sorry.
Go on, Charlotte. What you saying?
No, I think for me, I would have. I don't know because Jed Spence I don't think that's improved. I think we just didn't see anything from him before. So in my mind, I'm like, well, Jed Spence, had that, and I don't. Well, he fell off a bit towards the end after he kind of got benched, I guess. But I'd put him up there, but I definitely think Bergvall's the most improved player of the season, 100%.
Harry, for you?
Probably Johnson. Because last season he was missing tap-ins.
Harry giving Brennan Johnson an end of season award. Fuck it.
And then last season he was missing tap-ins. This season he's at least scoring them. So
this season he's done nothing but score tap-ins. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least he's improved. I'm liable. Bergvall's not a bad shout, but it's just because I don't know. I just and obviously Charlotte, your shout's quite good as well with Spence. But with those two, I personally think I attribute them to players that we didn't see at all, and they kind of like just broke through.
Okay.
Like
Yeah,
with Johnson,
sure.
at least, because we used to argue about Johnson. We still do probably, but
Yeah, all
like
the
for me,
time,
probably
every
the most
week.
proves at least not he's scoring the tap-ins and not missing them like last season.
Okay. Best signing. I really want to say Bergvall, but due to the impact he had for such a short period of time, I'm going to say Kevin Danso. I think the way he's come in and completely been so instrumental in being a rock in that European run, for me, I think he gets it. Charlotte disagrees with me. Go on, say it. I can see it in your face.
No, because I don't want to keep agreeing with you. I feel
It's
like
hard, though, isn't it? Agreeing with you all the time.
I think yes, or I'd probably say Bergvall over, but I think Dante's definitely a immediate second.
Harry, for you?
Quite hard. I'd probably say contradict myself in the same thing, but anyway, probably Solanke because he was the only first team player we signed,
Okay.
and despite his lack of goals,
Okay.
he's had scored some important goals. Like the goals, at least, were important in the Europa League run. So probably him. Yeah, and also because over a longer period of time, like because Danso joined in January, so yeah. That's
Okay,
just
fair enough.
Our signings weren't that great.
Worst
So it's
player
hard
of
to-
season. There's only one answer. Yeah, worst player of season. There's only one answer. Sorry, Timo. Timo
You don't want
Werner.
another
He's
loan?
shocking,
You don't want
and I'm glad to see the back of him.
You don't want another loan?
Oh, fuck off. I'll fucking loan you to Arsenal if we loan Werner again. I'm assuming you guys both agree with that. I'm not going to lie.
100%.
Yeah.
Harry, you agreeing with that? Yeah, fair enough. Nice and easy. Biggest surprise of the season? For me, I am going to say Brennan Johnson for this one. I think nobody expected the player we've had this season, especially considering how we started the season. First couple of weeks were really rough. I think for me, biggest surprise is Brennan Johnson.
I'd also put in maybe Kulusevski just from like his like
Drop
that
off.
period.
For the period it was.
I think the period that he was just brilliant, and like everyone was talking about him despite how shit the team was. But I think I'm probably not going to say him just because of his
Poor form at the end.
line. Yeah, no.
Who you going with? Who you going with, Charlotte? You going with Johnson as well?
Go with Johnson, fine.
Harry, for you?
This is a tough one. Big surprise. I'm probably going to say Bergvall, just because
Okay.
I didn't expect to get this many minutes. But
Because you were shitting on him all summer, that's why.
We're still a long way to go in this development. But anyway,
I'd also then go back to. Go on.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. So, like for me, Bergvall.
Go on.
For me, Bergvall, because he's got more minutes than I thought he would, and he's made himself into like a first team squad player, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd actually put out I'd say it's the biggest surprise of the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say Archie Gray, just of how I'm surprised that he actually was able to,
Handle 400 positions in the same season.
at his age. I'd also maybe then say I'm surprised at Spence again of how good he was in that period of time, because we hadn't seen him before, maybe more than improved.
Okay, fair enough. Worst performance of the season for me, without a doubt, is Leicester at home. My little brother's first game, fucking bastards didn't show up, and I still hate them for it, even if I love the club and we won something. Worst performance for me is Leicester at home. We were fucking dog shit, absolutely awful.
I need to check.
Awful.
I need to pick one game.
Any takers on that? Can you?
I need to look at the games again.
So go on, Harry, what are you saying?
22 games. So I need to check. Remind myself.
I'd also put out Tamworth, I think.
Oh, fuck
Oh,
it
God,
out. Yeah, that was a shocker as well, wasn't it? Forgot about
Give me just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think well, especially when you look at the whole Leicester's form, and then you just see
that.
the
One
little
win is Tottenham.
green in like the middle. I think that's why it makes it so much worse than just like a loss.
There's
Say,
a lot of
Harry?
games. So I need to pick one. Give me a minute.
Please.
There's one game we lost that was really, really bad. There we go. Where we find it? Oh, when we lost 6-3 at home to Liverpool. There you go.
Okay.
That was
Fair
embarrassing.
enough.
That was when they were singing his name all five. What's wrong with these people? These people.
Best performance of the season. I'm going to go Frankfurt away. I think that game was the moment I believed that even if we were going to get Lazio in the next round, that we were going to really push it in Europe. We were phenomenal defensively. You know, Maddison stepped up massively in that game as well. And I started to see a bit of a shift in the players. And I think from that point, we really started to believe that it was going to be possible. And last one, I think it goes without saying, the best moment of the season for me was the final whistle against Manchester United. Winning a European trophy and seeing a really likeable group of players achieve something, a very young group of players achieve something. I think it's going to do wonders for the future, regardless of which manager we end up with. I think that there's no real counteracting point. That, to be fair, I know Harry. Obviously, you watched it with my dad. You watched it with your dad. Sorry, is the reason you're a Tottenham fan. I watched it with my stepdad. Is the reason I'm a Tottenham fan. Charlotte, I'm assuming you watched it with family as well. So being around people in that moment and feeling that kind of just sense of relief, you know, even if Harry was
That's the
negative
best way to
like 48
describe
hours
it.
later, seeing that
Like my
sense of
friend here,
relief and kind of knowing that we'd seen it and we'd witnessed it, I think was massive. And I think the players are going to have a hunger for it now. And whichever manager comes in next, he's got a group of winners now, and it's got to be the first of many. In terms of Ange and him this season, I'm going to give him a B rating this season because I think I'm going to give Spurs his overall season a B. You can't rate any lower than that winning a trophy. For me, the league form is atrocious. It's embarrassing, and it's quite frankly pathetic. But that being said, in 30, 40 years' time, I'm not going to sit there talking about the fact that we almost got relegated. I'm going to sit there talking about the fact we're European champions. And football is all about winning trophies. When he came in, he said top four wasn't his target. European football wasn't his target. Winning something, breaking that duck, being the one to turn Tottenham into a group of winners was his target. And regardless of what you think about his time at Tottenham, whether he stays or whether he goes, he's achieved that target. So you can't really complain, even though Harry will. Yeah.
Okay. Not out of 10.
Charlotte, for you? No, I can't be bothered like that. We'll grade it. Why not? For you, for the season overall and the manager.
Oh, just like I'm still speechless. I've been crying since what 2 weeks ago. I mean, yeah, I agree with it is absolutely disgraceful, and I feel like people are putting down the fact that we did finish 17th, how you're celebrating still. But at the end of the day, it is a trophy, and it is a big trophy.
Yeah, it's not small.
And we're going to win another trophy in the end, in August for the Super Cup. So.
Oh God! Why do you have to say
when we preview that game, you're coming back on again unless you're on holiday because you've said that's your fault.
I'm going to be the next Ange. I'm going to say
what happened last night.
We're not even talking about PSG game. I don't talk about that. We'll talk about that when we preview the final.
Okay. For me,
I need to put an E for explicit on that episode.
If we're doing A, B, C, D, I'll rate him as a C- because I would have said D, but because he won a trophy, I gave him a C-. So every other metric, he's been rubbish. I had an argument with a fan in the stadium. I doubt he listens to the podcast about the league, and this was like months ago, saying, "Well, the league's done now, blah blah." And this was before we played Liverpool and Villa in the cups. And I go to him, "Well, there's no guarantee we're going to win either of those games, let alone both of them." I haven't seen him since. But the point I'm trying to make is that there was such a the league form is the worst I've ever seen, the worst my dad's ever seen, by the way, and he's been watching Spurs since 1970. So 22 losses for someone who goes and watches every single game every week to the stadium is embarrassing. It's horrific. And I know we won the Europa League, but the Brighton fans are still taking the piss out of us, saying Europa League, you're having a laugh. Champions of Europe, you're having a laugh. So this whole, well, it's going to solve the bantering is not really true, I don't think, because I still think teams will probably take the piss out of us. Mm. And I still will remember the 22 Premier League losses because it's like a record. And whenever they post statistics about, say next season, God forbid we have a bad season like this again, they'll whip out that record, that thing again. They'll say 22 losses last season. Are we surprised? Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying they will. So for me, just because byproduct that we won the trophy, that's why I didn't rate him as like a D or like an E or an F, or whatever. I don't know how long it goes. But so that's why I'd C minus. Yeah. And I still want him to go.
Charlotte, for you. You said I'm being generous.
I think B maybe I don't know. Maybe a B minus. Maybe if we're putting minuses, I didn't know this was an option.
Well, it wasn't, but Harry decided to go for it anyway, so never mind. He does what he wants. He does what he wants. He's been agile all season, and he does what he wants.
C plus. There we go. B in the middle.
Okay, fair enough. I think that pretty much sums up, like, sort of say where we are. I'm not going to talk about Andrew, his future, because there's not really any point at this stage. By the time me and Harry record the first episode of the new season, we're going to take a 2-week break, sit together one of those evenings, and just go over sort of who we want to get on the podcast and what sort of plans we have for this year. Because I really want to push it, because I've loved what it's been about 14 months now, 15 months since we started back again. And we've uploaded consistently throughout all the stupid stuff at Christmas and all the Guess Who's and all the random shit as well. Jack sitting there for 45 minutes saying he's going to eat popcorn because me and you were just screaming at each other about Ange, and the episode in black and white with me and you with angry faces. You're a hater, you just wanting to fail. Like, when I sit back and I look at all the episodes we've recorded this year, and this is episode 46, I believe. Let me check.
Is it 40? Yeah, you're right. It must be 46, right?
I think so. Sorry, episode 44. Episode 44. Yeah, so to do 44, so for 44 weeks of a whole season, that's 2 months off of an entire year. And when you consider the fact that we've had international breaks in between that, and we had a break over Christmas because one of the episodes didn't render properly, and we had holiday last year, whatever. So I think that's amazing to sit there and upload for basically 10 months straight in a football season. Is brilliant, and we're going to aim to smash that again this year. Obviously, we've had it on Spotify, we've had it on YouTube. It's been amazing, and I can't say, and I'm sure Harry echoes this, but can't say how grateful I am to everyone who's listened, everyone who's left a comment, everyone who's followed, everyone who's come on as a guest. My little brother, Theo, if you've got this far, I love you, little man. He's been listening to the podcast every week for the last couple of weeks now. Like, it means so much, and I'm so happy that I started it again, and I'm really, really excited for next season and what it holds. And obviously, like I say, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, Ange's future will have been sorted. We're going to get some non-Spurs fans on to talk about the transfer windows as a whole. I know Jack wants to come back on again, take the piss out of our league season because Everton finished above us. But yeah, that's the aim. So if you do want to come on the podcast, drop it a like, drop me a comment, drop me a message. That'd be great. In my TikTok bio, depending on whether you're listening to this on that or whatever, there's an account now just for podcast clips. Excuse me, any podcast that's going to go on there after this episode's clip, and everything else is going to go on there for the new season. I've redesigned, actually. I sent it to Harry, and it absolutely prick didn't bother replying. I sent it to Harry. I redesigned the podcast graphics for the new season, and I'll zoom in and show you guys because no one ever listens this far anyway. And I've got Sonny lifting the trophy and the logos, and I've redone it for YouTube and for TikTok as well. And that will be on both accounts. So if I post videos on my account, it'll have the same outro as the TikTok account, and then the YouTube one's changed as well. I spent a couple of days doing that last week. And apologies as well for you guys that know was expecting an episode last week. I just struggled a little bit on the Saturday. Spurs posted a video of all the people that Tottenham fans had lost and what it meant to them, not having those people there. Obviously, it was a massive reminder of Ramon, and all the emotion from the 3 or 4 days before that all hit me at once, and it was just rather difficult. That's why took a break for a week or so. And then the next 2-week break isn't because I need a break. I'm all right. But it's just for me and Harry to sit down and have a chat about what the plans are for the new season, what guests we want to get on, et cetera, et cetera. Because we say every year we're going to sit there and do that, and we never give ourselves time. So we'll do that from next week.
What are you going to do when I'm away? Because I'm going away for like 2 weeks in August.
Yeah, well, actually, as she's here, I might as well ask her. Charlotte, I would absolutely love when Harry's on holiday when are you on holiday, Harry? What are the dates? I can't remember.
Double check the date. It's like the 20-something of August I leave. I'll be in Barcelona. I think it's the 27th I go to Barcelona. And then I'm back.
How long are you going for? It's 2 weeks, isn't it?
I'm like 2 weeks, yeah. I'm back like early September.
So for those 2 weeks that Harry is on holiday...
I'm leaving on the 28th and I'm back on like the 10th or something. I'm going to be on a ship, so I don't think I'll be able to like do... I don't know.
Yeah, you won't be able to record it. So for those 2, potentially 3 weeks that Harry's on holiday, I would absolutely love you to take over as a temporary co-host. It would mean a hell of a lot. I was meant to mention to Harry last week, but obviously we didn't record last week. And I thought, you know what, let me wait. And I'll when I messaged you yesterday, I thought if she says yes and she comes on, then I'll ask her on the recording itself. So as long as you're not on holiday, I'd absolutely love you to take over. We've both said how much of a privilege it's been having you on when you've been on this year, and definitely want you on more frequently next year because it's such a lovely insight to have. And we actually spoke about it the other day, the episode that we did with you last time where we spoke about women's safety in football and things like that. I think a lot of people listened to that and it kind of highlighted things that they hadn't previously considered because it wasn't relevant to them. And I want to get you on for more stuff like that. And we'd love to get you on for an episode of Guess Who this year as well. So I think that'd be. But thank you guys so much for watching this year. I can't believe I'm saying this year. It's the last one of the season. Thank you guys so much for watching this year. It means a hell of a lot. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We will be back for the 2025-2026 season in 2 weeks' time. So you guys are watching this on. Let me check. You guys are watching this on the 6th. And we will be back. 1, 2. We'll be back on the 27th of June. We might be back a week earlier. It depends on if Spurs do something drastic and stupid. Then we might be back a week earlier. Otherwise, take a 2-week break. Thank you guys so much for all the love and all the support this year. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Drop us a 5-star review. Keep the notification bell on because those episodes will be coming thick and fast next season. And for the last time in the 2024-2025 season, come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs.